uh, business processes. So I mean something like make to order, make to stock. So these are not this kind of knowledge is not available in the open market. People whoever start with SD have to know these kind of business skills. So these business skills are pretty important. So most of the cases, as per I have seen, so people will not have the complete 100% skills. So business experience, I mean, some of the business process knowledge like which you need to acquire. So if you can see my screen, can you guys see my screen, Sumant?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can see this, because being myself being from a bachelor's of engineering background and basically in the later stage, I've done my MBA. But after my bachelor's itself, I joined my first job in initially as a programmer, and then moved into a BAP. So that was for an year and a half I worked. Then moved to sales and distribution, materials management, project systems, customer relationship management, and I'm also into simple logistics, which is in an S4 HANA platform. So in the recent days, like I was so and all the lines of businesses, SAP around I have touched around 18 LOBs out there. So they call it as lines of business. So uh, according to my experience, I have people who have come down to SAP sales and distribution knowledge uh, without without any fundamentals, but still they have started surviving because they have picked up all this. Suppose in the regular sales knowledge, be it from the manufacturing background, people doesn't know what is a fundamentally they would have heard this word called make to stock, but so there will be raw materials, there will be components, there will be semi-finished goods, there will be a finished product to the given to the customer, so from the suppliers, and there is also manufacturing background in it. So you can see a forecast done by any company's strategy marketing strategy department and their finance department together will forecast. So what kind of business they can expect in the next coming years or coming months or coming days. So based on that, they will be this customer will will be asking, this make to stock. This is not customer expected. So this is what you manufacture and customer orders as per his requirement. But here you will assemble once the order has been placed based on your bill of material or a sales order. So you are going to assemble this particular one, supplier or manufacturer, both the guys will be there here. And make to order, that means once the order is placed, then they will uh, have a replenishment lead time. There is something called availability of components. So this is in depth of the supply chain process. So you don't need to know all the fundamentals, but at least you should have an overview of this. Engineer to order, suppose if you take an elevator, according to the size of the building, it will be manufactured and assembled after the order. So nobody will keep your lift or elevators ready made because without knowing the building specifications. So make to order is like cars and motorcycles. They cannot manufacture absurdly without knowing the demand and forecast in the market. So assemble is certain kind of products like computers, PCs, all these they are generally gone in will go into an assemble to order kind of business. So this is one of the inventory and supply chain. And if you can see this, can you see this make to stock? and make to order diagram. Viber.
Yeah.
So if you can see this in the make to stock, generally factory pushes the
Mhm.
material to the warehouse, whereas make to order, it is not a push mechanism, it is a pull mechanism. The order requirement is pulled to the factory, and then the material is supplied to the customer. Got it?
Mhm.
So these are the basic differences. You don't need to break your head in such kind of scenarios. But yes, how this order is placed, how the strategically different departments will come in picture here. It is not just sales and finance. Factory means production, right? Factory means finance.
Okay.
They require money to buy materials, to manufacture everything. And factory means inventory, that is MM module. So there will be many modules involved in a single business point of view. So it's your job to understand how these make to orders, how the make to stocks are really uh, uh, useful for your business. So remember, every business. Can you mute yourself? There is some noise from the other side. Yeah, thank you. So when you want to ask a question, so definitely you can unmute, or yeah, you can text me. Okay. So make to stock or make to order. So these are certain fundamentals which I generally expect people to, again, even if you Google it, you'll find a lot of information about it, because these are all supply chain fundamentals. So uh, so this diagram is not that clear. So smallest one. Okay. So you can see this: make to stock, produce to demand, make to order. So these are certain supply chain fundamentals. So companies will produce according to the demand. So for example, a certain festival season in India or US, during Dashara, Diwali, or Christmas, so they will have an excess demand in the market. So how should they work with third parties? How should they work with OEMs, original equipment manufacturers? So there will be because SAP as a software, it is ready to all these kind of business requirements. So when it is made to stock, when, what do you mean by batch, what kind of finished good inventory, what are different chargebacks, what, how the production capacity has to work, so how the changeovers has to happen, how the production mechanism should work. So these all things are SAP is pre-prepared, you don't need to. But yes, remember, 85% it is ready made, but some 15% it always requires a lot of customization. So that's where we consultants like SD or MM or PP guys will come into picture. So if you can see this order to cash cycle, this is one of the very much a premier business process which an SD consultant should have it. So from the order management, you have this credit process, because why credit? Because I should know what is the balance sheet of the customer, and what is the credit coverage of this person, and what kind of credit I can give him, because without that the order fulfillment will not happen. So once this credit is checked, so this will say, okay, you have enough credit balance with us, your bank has guaranteed us, so I'm going to take. Because remember, whenever you're learning this module, put yourself in a manufacturer's mindset, don't put yourself in a customer's mindset. Then you're going to fail in understanding many concepts. Means, as a manufacturer, I'm taking orders not from independent consumers, I'm taking from the customer terminology. Whenever we are going to discuss in sales and distribution, it is large buyer, it could be a retailer, it could be a trader, it could be a distributor. So we are not talking about single consumer. So that is CRM, not in SD. So consumer B2C is different, B2B is different. Remember, SD's point of view is always a business to uh, business transformation. So if you can see the shipping and transportation, then invoicing based on the shipping, and afterwards account receivable, collection of money. So reporting, obviously, what kind of orders you're placing and what kind of how many customers have come in. So these are this is something called O2C. We call it as order to cash. So this is another make to order strategy. So how we generally work with your make to order production. So you have new machinery, so which is which has to be manufactured, which are produced, right? So there is a warehouse stock. So production by lot size pull. What do you mean by that? What is pull mechanism? Is make to stock or make to order? Just now we discussed make to order is a pull mechanism, isn't it? Make to stock is a push mechanism. So production by lot size, because lot by lot, how the production happens, how the production scheduling happens. Remember, make to order production is completely a PP concept. You don't need to know anything in depth of production, but you should know whenever an order is placed, right? So they will be system will check the availability of the stock. If the availability is reduced or not up to the mark, then there will be a TOR, transfer of requirement. So that will transfer to the first it will check the inventory, then it will check to the production, and automatic production scheduling happens. So where the production arrangements can be made, the production order is prepared based on that, right? So like a purchase requisition, they have a planned production order, planned order we say. So PP, remember, PP module is automatically readily integrated with MM, SD and FI. We are not going to do any physical mapping in the business system called SAP. And on this sake, even an Oracle system or any non any of the other ERPs, could be Microsoft. Everyone says that we can also do the same job what SAP is doing. But what they miss is that this kind of scalability, the kind of security, and the kind of built-in features of SAP, these people can never bring it, because this is a dedicated ERP company from 45 years. So they have property of fantastic objects, integration features, cloud features, mobile features, so web features, IDE, the integrated development environment, so user interfaces, so user experiences, now called they call Fiori. So there are many features like SAP has come up with. It is compatible to Java, it is compatible to Unix, it's compatible to and it was a multi-database ERP till 2015, and now it is a single database called HANA. So SAP is becoming more powerful because of HANA is an analytics, HANA is a database, HANA is a application that's called digital core. So they have come up with this new feature where now single database ERP. Earlier it was choice was yours. You choose MS SQL, you choose Oracle. Remember, the ECC stream is still going to exist in the market. HANA is a new feature he has brought. So he is not forcing you to move to HANA. So if you want to buy the enhancement pack EHP, I mean, if I log into the system, this is the SAP logon. So this is something called IDES, Internet Demonstration and Evaluation System, which is provided for our practice purposes. So if I just click it without giving username, you can see this ECC6 Enhancement Pack 7. So this is a non-HANA based, but HANA based will be EHP 8, Enhancement Pack 8. but for us as a functional consultant, database doesn't matter. So this one is a 800 client which is provided for our trainings. So we will be using this system, and you will get access of this system during this is a cloud access. So wherever you are, from your office or home or from your tab, wherever you are, you can practice on this system. So let me get to, so as I was saying, an integrated approach. So these are about the business scenarios, right? So I'll give you a small supply chain picture, so which will give you a picture of what we generally do in a business process. If you see a beer manufacturing company, from the farm till the customer, it will go to lot of business iterations. That means it comes to the hops, then hops and grains will go to the brewer, brewer will go to the distributor, brewer will send the stock to the distributor. But they are cans and bottles are the very important raw materials, so which are to pack this. So though the brewer is ready, if the cans and bottles are not on time, then obviously this cost may increase. Obviously your distributors are going to go to other competitors because they cannot stop selling, and this grocery will be again dependent on this distributor, and the whole chain will really struggle or trouble in the entire process. So if you can see this, from the farm, from the scheduling information to the order. So you see this data design, as I was talking about, there will be some strategic departments, right? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Now,
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, one second. I Can you hear me?
Hello.
yes.
Yes.
And I hope you can see my screen as well. So I'm talking about, just now we spoke about make to order and make to stock. So this scenario is not an order driven, right? So it is again, so this data is designed by the research company, research maybe external or internal department will tell you what is the demand in the market according to the season, isn't it? So obviously it is seasonal. So there are beers are sold better in summer, and but in each country's summer time is different, isn't it? So they have to have it. So they have market research data, then order and cash flow. That means what am I manufacturing, from where I am transporting, so where is how the distribution process is happening. So then the schedule information will decide what amount of raw material I have to pick from the farm. And you can see this, you have your credit flow coming from, going from, and then idea and design to satisfy the end customer. Sometimes satisfying the end customer means it is not in this business, in the beer business this may not be exactly more but more relevant. But if you go to an automobile, so obviously they'll try to go with a better interiors because your competitor is coming with a better model car. So based on that, this particular supply chain, this is a supply chain example. Why am I talking about supply chain and SD? Because sales and distribution is part and parcel of this process. Sales and distribution cannot be in the air. It is always about customer. It is always about the production. Why production? So there is no on-time production. I cannot do a perfect sales process. And you can see this tier 1, tier 2, Tier 3, there are many suppliers. This one is taken care by module. But this market research and order and cash flow here where the SD module comes into picture. But the holistic picture you have to understand, still we can say more than a customer, it's a consumer. So still this consumer receives it. Distributor is a customer here for my for SAP SD. So this guy orders me. I don't take orders from customers. The brewers will not get orders from end customer. It will be from the direct partner, or we call it as a business partner or a customer. So let me get into. So I'll be sharing these details because remember there will be because many of the SAP companies. One second. So this is one of the. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So when we are implementing or learning one technology, so the supply chain digest has explained about how the companies have failed while implementing. You see the brand names like Adidas, like Toyota, General Motors. So there are a lot of companies. See this Foxmare drugs have huge impact. New order management distribution system don't work, and fulfillment cost targets built into contracts are unattainable. That means contracts could not be attained on time. Huge sales losses. Foxmare files for bankruptcy. So General Motor, the robo technology that could not integrate with the ERP mechanism. So, and you can see this. Toyota uses lean manufacturing to gain strong competitive advantage. So your competitor will take over. That is the reason they are implementing these kind of. Even Adidas, there is a certain warehouse issue, like where the automation did not work, and they can underships 80% in January and incurs market share losses. So if a ERP fails, they are going to be disasters. Anyway, I'll be sharing these documents so you can read in detail. So one overview picture which generally the SAP's proprietary document talks about.
Ravi, when you're saying that SAP has failed, you mean that somewhere the thread has failed, or the
Uh,
system?
Somewhere the consulting team and the client's core team could not coordinate with each other, and they could not give requirements, or these people could not take the requirements, understand the business mapping in a proper format, because these warehouse integrations, these product related features, or some of the maintenance related activities, so and understanding the supply demand scenarios, it is not as simple as that. The people who go on site and take the
Orders.
inputs of the client should be the customer input has to be. Sometimes the customers are at fault, and sometimes the IT teams are at fault.
Okay.
It happens in IT industry. It is common, not just in SAP. So many people will fail in convincing the client, and the kind of approvals they need to take. Sometimes that's the reason we'll have various levels of assessment in right now, gateways in the IT companies. So we'll have a third party intervention also in that. Getting my point, before going and
Yeah.
finalizing the business process.
Yeah.
So these Accentures and Deloittes, they are you Ernst and Young. These are the companies which will work as third party as well.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, okay. Done.
So I have answered your question.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you can see this, so this is the a small integration approach which I'm talking about. So the documents in sales and distribution, and they have this. These are the four modules in SD: pre-sales, sales, shipping, billing. And you can see this material management is completely integrated with SD. And if the stock inventory is maintained here and purchasing is done here, suppose an order has been placed and orders stock inventory is the safety stock level has come down. So obviously it says that it will issue a production notice as a planned order through module. And for all these things, this horizontal part is finance. So your customer payment, your financial accounting, your billing, your shipping, your sales order. So all these things, you can see these dotted lines remotely. This particular goods issue is updating the metal stock account, and this is updating the account receivable, and this delivery is updating the goods issue. So you need to understand, as you are proceeding into the business, pre-sales is the first part where you can see this. An order to cash means inquiry, quotation, order, delivery, billing. As simple as that. And you can see this. There is a different kind of process you have to understand. If you have an agreement, this agreement will go to a delivery, because you don't need an order, because agreement is equivalent to an order almost. So if you see a contract doesn't need a quotation, because all the quotation features, when the order has to start, when the contract expires. So almost features of quotation will be there in the contract. So I can straight away create an order. In the agreement, I don't need an order as well. Straight away I can do delivery based on. So these are some fundamentals of sales and distribution which you need to grasp. Yeah. Any question on this? And this sales info system is nothing but the reporting system of SAP. Any question, Vaibhav, Sumant?
Yeah, I mean, these are the complete process of this SD, how
Yes,
it will be.
yes. The in short, SAP SD is divided into four parts: pre-sales, sales, shipping,
Uh,
billing.
uh-huh.
That's it. And
So
without FI
uh-huh.
integration, these modules cannot work. So that's the reason he's talking about SD with FI, with FI, and PP with FI.
Okay. So integration also, this part also we will teach us.
Absolutely, I will be teaching that. So integration part is the most critical over here.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And see, many people assume that integration comes after your SD is over. No, integration will start on day one of in the session. In the session one itself, integration has to be spoken. People see, remember, this is SAP ERP as enhancement pack. It is packed with integration of tables. It is packed with integration of a lot of routines, a lot of tables, objects, uh, APIs, business APIs. So he has clubbed this particular business processes and packed and given you as a package, isn't it? That's why it is called an ERP package. So integration is by default in the system. So you cannot learn it separately. You have to travel with it. Getting my point?
Yes. Hello.
Yeah. So,
The voice is
uh,
breaking.
e- yes. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Vaibhav.
Yeah, your voice is breaking. That's
Oh, is it breaking now?
yeah, it's clear now.
Okay. So, as a scenario, we generally start from a customer request to a sales order to shipping, billing, cash processing, and analysis. So, maybe this particular scenario is looking, the green part is logistics. Remember, SD module is part of logistics as for the SAP systems installation, or when you see the package. So I'm logging into the system once again. So SAP Easy Access, SAP Menu, Logistics, Sales and Distribution. So this is the part. It starts with master data. So though you're seeing the diagram, so master data is nothing but a long-term used data, like your customer information, like your price information, like your product information. Without that, you cannot create any sales order. So then you will have certain sales support like pre-sales activities, promotions, activities. So analysis is not required, but promotions and activities. So then you will be having this inquiry, quotation, order, then agreement, contract. So everything will run through transaction codes. VA11 belongs to create, VA12 belongs to change. So these are called transaction codes. This can be typed here, or I can double click here. If I double click here, it will look like this. Or if I go back and type here VA11, that's called command prompt, where we can, so the same thing happens. If I don't remember the code, I can come inside. If I remember the code, I can type here. So it is very easy. So 11 belongs to inquiry, 21 belongs to quotation, 31 belongs to not order but contract. So you have various uh, transaction codes in the business system. So, but when you are learning and how to connect from time to time to these contents written in the system, you have to be very careful, because straight away, if I want to create a sales order, I require a customer master to be created first, isn't it? I require customer's name, customer's address, the country, his bank details. The many things are required before I go ahead with my sales order. So existing customers, you don't need to do every time. Just enter the customer ID and automatically the order can be created. But a new customer, you need to fill all the details. You have to send them a web form, or you have to take verbally, or whatever it is. So web form is the easiest thing, because there will be a separate registration process. The data automatically comes into our database. Got it? So that's the reason I'm talking about logistics and accounting are two different features. Why logistics? All the manufacturing, materials management, sales and distribution belongs to this. But this finance has to work. You can see this. Once the logistics process is triggered, then there will be a manufacturing and production process here. And after that, that will the payments will happen post sales once after the production. So it is they work hand in hand. It is a cyclic activity. Got it? The ledgers will be prepared in accounting, and there will be a chart of accounts, and that will be an FSCO module activity, FSCO consultant activity. So we don't work with that. So as I was saying, it was logistics. So you can see this in the logistics. You have this modules. MM, SD, LE, production, so on, PM. So once you see the diagram, you have to have this kind of explanation in your mind, this kind of thought process in your mind. So this is what exchange of goods or services for an amount is called sales, and distribution process. That means how the stock is going to the customer's place. That is called distribution. Got it? So this is the process, like where you knowing your customers, knowing your products, how the terms of business work, how to book the orders. So we will be, see, to achieve this scenario, there are two screens. One is easy access, other one is called implementation guide, SAP project reference object. Once I get inside, so my job is to, and remember, there will be three types of systems in any business: development, quality, and production. While you are installing this, IMG will be available to configure only in the development system. We will not allow anyone to change in the production or quality system. First we'll develop here, send it to quality, do the rigorous regression test, functional test, end user test, user acceptance test, all this business process testing. There'll be different peers will be there in that. Even the client is in the part of user acceptance test. Once he approves it, then I'll move it to production. Right. So this implementation guide is something where we will be working on enterprise. There are two screens always. One is IMG, other one is SAP Easy Access. So this is where enterprise structure, and under that you will also find SD module here. So all these configurations will be working in the classes down the line. Right. So basically we will understand the total structure and then get into the, so contents wise, if you want to see, you can get into my website where you will find, you can download. So you go to SD here, SAP SD Training, you will have all the contents in the sequence what I'm going to train. So okay. So from the, if I have to achieve this scenario, I have to do a bit of customization, bit of SPRY activity. That's what configuration is all about. Then the SAP Easy Access. So SAP Easy Access is nothing but creation of order. SPRY is nothing but configuration required for order. That means price configuration, the customers different standards, customers marketing features. That means sales districts, sales organizations. There are a lot of data required to the users. So that is my job as a functional consultant to configure. So that is SPRO. And remember, as a functional consultant, you'll be working in three areas: control data, master data, and transaction data. Control is customization, which is done only by SD consultants or FI consultants, MM consultants, and that is control. Then master data. So master data is something like, your customer, your product, your price. And transaction is nothing but everyday transaction, everyday sales, everyday delivery, everyday production. So those all are things called transactions, what we do on the daily basis. So we will be discussing in the next session about organization structure, how the sales org works. Remember, without knowing the business, you cannot understand. That's the reason some fundamentals I would definitely stress on because I'll be sharing certain materials where we will go little slow, because I have to give you the foundation. It is not just training, going into the system, showing you. Remember, many of the people who come to me who have finished their course and say that they want to go for a job, they are good in SAP, but they are very bad in business mapping. Getting my point? I give them a scenario and say that tell me how many channels would be possible here. And because their fundamentals are bad, they have never learned this subject in the mapping perspective. They have simply learned, gone to SPRO, gone to enterprise structure, opened sales organization, created. It is not about creating. Don't behave like an end user. Behave like a consultant. So consultant will tell me how these offices have to be set up, under which is under sales organization or a channel. Where should I set up this office? So sales group, how they are understood. Divisions, how will you decide? So that means that business understanding will have to be acquired during the course. So the more you do the mapping mechanism, so otherwise, I always have continuous batches going on. So you have to repeat the session, otherwise you are not going to really understand these topics well. So you can see this. Yeah. So I will be having the configuration guide books, which I'll be giving you. And so all the topic wise, you have the configuration with screenshots. So don't worry about if you have missed some step, missed a class, you will never miss the sequence, because everything is readily available for you. So you are not coming to the class just to learn configuration, but you have come here to get mentored, get the process understanding, the mapping. That's where an SD or a MM or a FI consultant's requirement is there. We don't want just configurators. If you want just configurators, even an ABAP guy can do that job. It is not about just learning how to create a sales order, how to configure a sales order, how to map it. That's where an ABAPer cannot do, because he doesn't have business knowledge. So you have to acquire more knowledge than a technical guy to really. So, and other thing is, I would be helping you in this process of preparing a resume. A proper professional resume with 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years have to be prepared. Otherwise, and this resume needs to be modified. So as I'm talking about like a job description, because every JD has some minor changes. So you need to understand, so how which type of project you're putting, what kind of business process what is this rollout, what is the production support, all these kind of businesses, and how the support projects will be going on, what kind of issue solving you're doing. So resume preparation is completely a different job than the what you're learning, because that's where the market really is looking for. So, and I'll be sharing you a lot of PDF documents which I'm showing you in the teaching you in the class. So that will be shared. Those are all certification documents I follow, and it's going to be uh, definitely a good experience if you are learning with integration. Otherwise, your learning will cross from the 2 months training to again 4 months, because I have a lot of people after 1 month again they have restarted in another batch, because they wanted to catch up once again. Getting my point? So even if you miss some class, I will have recording of that class. Suppose I have recorded this session. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is about the a basic overview session, I can say. So yeah, you can come back with some questions straight away right now. You can ask me, or you can also email as you are understanding this subject. So you will have a lot of tips and tricks to follow, and a lot of inputs. I'll be giving you many of these documents, so you don't need to worry about it, about the transaction codes. And I have worked way back from 4.6c till this HANA interface today. So I can give you the transformations, how the SAP has changed its business processes, changed its architecture into NetWeaver stack, WS web application server, the integration scenarios. The more you want to learn, the more I can disclose. Disclose means, I cannot give you some advanced discussion where you not understand, because it is again, I have to control myself in the way I have to deliver my classes. Otherwise, there'll be no limitation in the business process sometimes, right? So it is an unlimited experience which because I have worked in more than 20 implementations and 40 plus support projects in various modules. You name it, from SD to MM to PP. FI and has HR are the modules I did not touch, because again, that the below those whichever are within the supply chain, I was always ready to work. The lot of CRM was also an advanced customer support for SD, so it was easy to catch, and I started working around 12 years back itself in CRM. Then also some advanced modules like vendor management, VMS. So I worked in different modules of SAP, and now even the coming to S4 HANA, I did not attend any of the SAP's uh, sessions directly, but just with some videos I've started learning. Which when the 2015 situation, because there was nobody to guide. When the project has come, I had to promise the client and uh, build the entire proposal. So I had to understand, because even SAP itself, every 3 months they are coming up with some new features. So by the time I finish my proposal, SAP is doing something else. So that is how fast SAP grows. So now, remember, once you start your life, you will never look back in your career, because SAP is certain things. You'll always have options. You can become an analyst, you can become a consultant, you can become a testing expert, you can become an architect, you can become a business analyst. System analyst is different and business analyst is different. You can become part of the PMO. You can become an assistant project manager if you have management skills. Then do the PMP certification and all this stuff in the later stage. And SAP certification opt after 2 years of your project experience. But if you have option of traveling abroad on your company's work or something, do it. Do the certification in other countries, because in India it is going to be a costly affair. It is around $6,000 to $7,000 what it is costing. In US it is hardly uh, $500. Yeah, 550 right now. 520 to $550, because you can write exam directly in most of the countries. But in India, because SAP has a lot of education business here, we are not allowed to write exam though you have skills, right? So any questions?
Yeah, I mean, how many total modules in the SAP?
Modules, lines of businesses are more than 35, like oil and gas, like construction, health and safety, right? So like this, the core modules are around 15 here. So like EHS, and there are a
Okay.
lot of extensions. If you buy ECC, if
Mhm.
you want to go, if your company is an oil and gas, you can just add that particular, buy a license and add it over there with ECC, install it over the ECC platform.
Mhm.
Getting my point? So
Mhm.
like this, there are more than 200 different major and minor modules available in SAP.
Mhm. So here, first thing we need to know their business. That is the most important thing.
Yes, you are going to become a function consultant. That means you are expected to know the uh, business process of the client, take decision,
Mhm.
because if you unnecessarily create extra plant or extra sales organization or extra distribution channel, it will end up in a lot of redundancy in the pricing configuration. So you'll end up doing more configuration, and system will uh, will be ending up with having more time to process each session, isn't it? So a report will take uh, another 5 seconds to 7 seconds more time, right? So it is unnecessary, and even the configuration time will grow. The implementation, I have to my go live date is November. It will cross November, it will spill out till January. So if you take a wrong decision,
Mm-hmm.
if a wrong understanding
Mm-hmm.
will definitely affect multiple modules here. That's the reason you have to understand
Mm-hmm.
business well.
Okay. So as an SD consultant, what are the main, I mean, the role and the things, how
Customization,
we start and
yeah, the starting
okay.
starting will be interacting with the client. One senior manager will be there on site, and with him one more middle level consultant will go and collect the information and send it to offshore. So it is there'll be templates in each company to create your business process documents, BPDs, and
Yeah,
while
I'm
doing
getting
scoping.
it.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
while
Yeah, I'm
doing this,
as an
go
SD
ahead.
consultant. I have to meet the sales department of the company, like that,
Mm,
or how it.
see, if I have 5 SD consultants in the company, all 5 may not meet the customer.
Mm-hmm.
The chosen 2 or 1 or 3, because one person has to do end user training, one person has to do, that means I'm at the end of the project. But initially, the division of work will be, you will be assigned your own work process. That means within the project you will have your own tasks. So that task may come in which module, because according to the strengths the manager may decide, or in a sequence the solution manager has an option of each team member being assigned each process. Getting my point? So you will be joining in the documentation process, then you will be in the blueprinting process, you will be in the whole team, all of us will be working together. Getting my point? The SD guys, the MM guys, but SD blueprint is separate from FI blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we will finish a blueprint, then we'll go for a configuration, customization, testing, releasing it, and doing the troubleshooting. Initially, will be a lot of tooling issues.
Mm-hmm.
This is the role of
So for
any functional
customization,
consultant.
I have to the above guy will be do this customization all this thing,
No, no, no.
or the
ABAP will be
SD1.
doing programming, not customization.
So if the customization is there, I mean, I had to do customization. I mean, I had to do
SPRO.
coding also.
Not customization is not coding here. Customization is a
Uh-huh.
functional way, non-coding methodology.
Uh-huh.
He does programming. Suppose you want a report, your client requires a different kind of a report. So then you have to get it configured, add more tables. Any technical things, he'll come into picture.
Okay, no, but in general, other software, if there is a requirement of customization, then we do the coding and all these
In
things.
.NET, Java like that, there'll be no functional consultant separately. There'll be analysts there.
Uh-huh.
But SAP functional means zero programming guys. They don't have any knowledge in programming.
Okay.
They'll not expect any programming skills from you. Don't worry about it at any time.
Okay, no, you said the customization of that drive.
Yeah,
Mm.
that word called customization is in the entire SAP system here. When you go to SPRO, this IMG is called customization. Here we just right click, assign, that's it. Those kind of things. That's called customization here.
Mm-hmm.
Customization is quite easy. Understanding business is tough here,
Okay.
right?
So SDK has had entire thing. I mean, after implementation, he will also provide the support and all the things by the SDK.
Yes, yes, yes. Because I have a separate project training sessions as well on how to create a blueprint and how the business process works. So because In most of the cases, there'll be some business blueprints here.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of processes here. Just a minute. So you should have the feel of what is this end user uh, manual is all about. How the end user process is taken care, and also you need to know how the BBP business blueprint, how it works. So you should, these are certain documents which you need to, that means how the purchase requisition, how the sales orders will work, what are the raw materials. These are some documents which you need to understand before you go into a project. So these are the things which will be given to you. So I'm not giving you in this particular training, but generally I'm talking about in companies these kind of. But that project training will deal with all these blueprints. But these classes are basically making you understand the technology, customization, configuration, how to test, how to work with the end users. This is what this training covers.
Okay. So you also take the, the project one also,
Yeah,
one or
project
two
is a
projects.
separate 30 days program which I have, but not within this.
Okay, that's actually great.
Yeah, that is absolutely different program because you cannot do a project until you are confident in the basics.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, but at the time of the interview and all these things,
Yeah, at
how
the
how
time
it
of
will
the
be
interview,
covered?
yes, the resume, whatever projects you put, like that understanding you need to have. Yeah, basically for the
Uh-huh.
interview, I will give you a 1-2 hours guidance. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Always, many of my students who have finished course 4 months back, 3 months back, right now they are going to the interview phase. So I'll help you out in giving you good resumes, analyzing your resume. That's part of, once this course is over, I can help you out in the resume, what projects to put, how to create, and what kind of support you want there. Those things I can help you out. It's a
Okay.
different, it's a continuous process for me actually. So at a time, yeah, per week I will at least have 10 to 15 resumes to be settling. So weekend I'll sit for around 5-6 hours and finish all the resumes. That's what I do.
Okay.
I have to customize according to your skills. Your every person's resume will not be same, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Right.
Your skills, your ability, and it has to be optimized accordingly.
Okay. So as per the SD part, so you cover entire things. Entire what are the contents
Entire
covered?
from the order to cash point of view, from the make to stock point of view, whatever is required for the industry, yes, everything is covered. From the taxation
Okay.
point of view, from the pricing point of view, delivery point of view, and billing point of view.
So the logistic and this one also
Logistics
comes.
execution. Yes.
Okay. So that syllabus you share with me,
You mean
complete thing is there.
system share?
Yeah, no, no. You share me that your content
Yeah, yeah.
PDF
The
file.
content it is there in my website, ravikiransdcrm.com. You can download that.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It's a PDF download. You can click on the download there. I'll
Okay.
just show you where the. So you go here, click on SD training, and here you have this. Click here, download. Okay.
Okay.
So I think we are done for the day. So any more questions? Yes, you can definitely discuss over the chat or mail. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Right. And have a nice
Hello, Kiran.
weekend. Yeah, tell me.
Kiran, I just have a doubt. I mean,
Yeah, tell me.
correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we have a ERP package in our company.
Okay.
Info RM3. Okay,
What
where Info RM3.
info?
RM3.
Okay. Okay.
INFO RM3, which is an
Ah,
ERP package that we use.
okay.
And where, as a production guy,
Mm-hmm.
I need all the details about the product. I mean, what are the sales orders that we have? For
Product
that,
life
we
cycle
have one.
management? You mean product life cycle?
Yes, exactly. I mean,
Okay.
it's not. I mean, where in that ERP, because each and every section department has its own
Absolutely.
codes,
Absolutely.
where they can.
Because every department will have separate customized tools. Yeah. In many of the companies which I have implemented
So
SAP, I have seen this. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So what that I'm learning here is how do I create each and every code for each and every department so that it will be easy for the end customer. That is, now I am the end customer here in our company, and
Hmm.
InfoR is our SAP provider.
Yes. See, I see what is the difference between a technology like ERP like Infor and this one is, you require department wise separate installations and separate products. Again, integrating the data and controlling it from a centralized business process is difficult. But SAP comes up with one single solution for all the departments. So finance department will open this and see the finance point of view. Production will see production point of view, and from the back end, the objects are always interacting with each other and they are updating each other. Getting my point? There will be less
Yeah,
clerical activity, less calling activity, less mailing activity. No faxes have to be confirmed to each other because everything is live here.
yeah. I mean that is what happens in our ERP package also. But the thing
Absolutely.
is, if I report something that this operation is done,
Uh-huh.
each and every department in the company knows what is the status
Hmm.
of the order.
Hmm.
I mean, this is
But
what. Yeah.
SAP as a company, like, suppose this info cannot be used by a company like Reliance, cannot be used by a company like Jaguar, because these people, because a company which is having multi-country mechanism, large scale data, so those kind of companies cannot use small ERPs. Even though they
Okay.
use, you require more effort on the IT backdrop. Getting my point? The servers, the
Yeah.
maintenance, and scalability is very difficult. So that's the reason they move to SAP.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Understand. Right.
Right? I hope I have answered your question.
Yeah. Yeah.
So see you again. We'll definitely discuss, and we are continuing at the same time from Monday onwards.
Monday. So there is no class tomorrow.
No, Saturday I don't have sessions because I tomorrow
Okay.
we will finish the formalities and material and all this stuff system. Those things tomorrow we'll be doing the
Okay.
system access and the materials and all this stuff. So I'll be connecting you offline on that. Okay.
Okay. Right.
Okay. See you then. Good night. Have a nice weekend.
Good night.